Hi, and welcome to SCW, the wrestling channel here on YouTube.com. Thank you for choosing the channel and choosing the video. Please subscribe right now. Leave any comments in the comment section. Please like and share the video as well. Emergence Night 1 is in the books, and of course, Emergence Night 2 will be next Tuesday for Impact Wrestling. I'm going to give my review for Night 1 and give a preview and prediction for Night 2 in this video. So without further ado, let's get straight into it with the surprise of the night. We emerged with a brand new X Division champion. That's it, right? Rohit Raju is the brand new champion, pinning Chris Bay. He did a double stomp off the top rope while Chris Bay was hanging on to the ropes. Not normally my favourite sort of finisher, but I think it did actually fit in this kind of moment because Chris Bay was stuck in the top rope, couldn't get down. These two were meant to be partners, you could say, throughout this triple threat match. Of course, TJP was the other competitor. Rohit Raju had talked himself into the match, waited for the perfect opportunity, and saw his moment to turn on Chris Bay. Now, I must admit, it felt obvious that that turn would happen at some stage in the match, that you'd see Rohit would find his moment. I didn't expect it to play into the finish. It was a real surprise to see him actually walk away as the champion, but he's worked very hard in the company. He's been there for a while. It's good to see him get his moment. On the flip side, though, I would say that the X Division Championship has been a hot potato recently. It has been swapping around quite frequently, short reigns for people since the last lengthy reign, I believe, was Ace Austin, who lost his belt earlier this year. But since then, we've had Willie Mack, Chris Bay, and now Rohit Raju in quick succession. I do wonder if we're going towards maybe a multi-man match at Bound for Glory. Perhaps Ultimate X could be making its return. We'll have to wait and see. But it's certainly a nice surprise to start off the evening. Now, I'm not taking things in order, going to call it as I say it, and I must say that I think that the match of the night was the Tag Team Championships, the Motor City Machine Guns taking on the North. The champions did retain, so the North have to go to the back of the line, but these two teams have great chemistry, and I look forward to seeing what they're going to do next. Are the North going to try and find a way desperately to still beat in the tag team title picture, or will they have to start again? I would like to see them go after Luke Gallows, or I should say Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson. I think that would be good because they seem to be the hot flavour of the month, Gallows and Anderson, at the moment in the company. I think that for that way, the North could say, well, if we can beat these guys, we're immediately back in the conversation. What happens with Motor City Machine Guns, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, they've already faced the Rascals, so we are going to need to find a new team for them to face in the meantime. Wouldn't surprise me if all three teams were putting a program together for Bound for Glory, but we'll have to wait and see as they'll develop. I mentioned Gallows and Anderson because, of course, they beat Fulton and as well Ace Austin in a solid tag team match. I felt that Austin and Fulton make a great team. I wouldn't be surprised to see them carrying on in the tag team division going forward, but it would be a bit strange if they lost the match, which they did against Gallows and Anderson, and then went for the tag team titles. So it would be interesting to see where it's going to go from there. I'd like to see Ace Austin go after Trey again because they had a good rivalry building up to Slammiversary, and it felt like that wasn't concluded. But looking at the tag team match with Gallows and Anderson and Ace Austin and Fulton, like I say, again, good chemistry. I think it was solid. I think it was a hard-hitting match. This felt one of the more physical matches of the evening. So definitely one worth checking out if you do go to watch the show if you haven't seen it already. We'll have to mention Wrestle House. I do feel that it was a bit lackluster this week. I wasn't feeling as much. Some of the comedy was still alright in the segments. Of course, it was mainly built around two moments really for the show really. Larry D, of course, part of the Triple XL tag team, has kind of been brainwashed and is kind of now flirting with Rosemary. They're kind of building up for that so Johnny Bravo can finally make a move and stop mucking around. And of course, it was building up for the match we had as well with Kylie Ray against Taya. The match was fine. Rosemary was the special guest referee for this. She was helping Taya at the start of the match where she could, but of course, she couldn't stop Kylie Ray picking up the victory. Once that super kick hits, it's a knockout blow, and it's a 1, 2, 3, no matter what happens. So, I mean, if the shoulder isn't coming up, you can't delay that 3 count forever. So, Kylie Ray picks up the win. I think my favourite thing of this actually comes from Twitter. I did see a tweet that Kylie Ray retweeted, someone saying that she ever does a death match. I think that the idea of that sounds absolutely hilarious, and it sounds like she quite enjoyed that tweet herself. But looking elsewhere for what we can build for that for next week, The Dinas have had their beer stolen. I feel for me that was definitely the highlight part of this. And I actually want to see who's done it because quite a few people pleading innocence. So it'll be interesting to see who are the people that have taken the beers. What if it was Tommy Dreamer himself? Tommy was absent this week. I did miss my match time being screamed out at the top of his lungs. So be interesting to see if he's brought back in for next week. We had a great little package put together for Eric Young as well. Of course, he is the world-class maniac, going through all his previous gimmicks and how we are now seeing him in his purest form. I really like the way that was put together, and I do feel that we are building towards Eric Young against Eddie Edwards. I hope that Eric Young is not the special, mystery opponent for next week for Eddie Edwards. I want to see this match saved for Bound for Glory, but that's just me. We also had a little bit of backstage shenanigans, we should say. Jimmy Jacobs, of course, was with Willie Mack, and they were talking about Rich Swann, what happened with him, and how Willie Mack doesn't really want to take it lying down. Brian Myers took Jimmy Jacobs and the cameraman away and said how he's not going to be patient anymore. He's the most professional wrestler, but he's not waiting around anymore, and he is not going to have anyone dictating his future. Felt like he was taking his moment. And it was nice to see a bit of passion from Brian Myers as well. I like the way this was built up. Willie Mack, of course, didn't take it lying down, come in and jumped in on the interview segment. Match is built for next week. To just give an early prediction for that as we're discussing it for night 2, I'm going to go for Willie Mack to pick up the victory. I still feel that Brian Myers should take a few losses to really just feel that crazy side before something snaps or he needs to tweak something, and then he can actually, reevaluate, do something different, and actually then find himself starting picking up some victories. I'd like to see that rather than him just coming in and tearing up the Impact roster. Heath Slater had his moment once again, with these comical videos, which I quite like to see as well. Hernandez and Reno Scum perhaps got a partnership going backstage as well. We'll have to see how that will develop going forward. And last but not least, let's talk about Moose defeating Trey. What felt quite a dominant performance from Moose. That was quite nice to see. If you're going to be considered the main eventer and one of the main champions, you need to be dominant in some of your title defenses, and Moose here, for me, stood out here as a dominant performer. EC3 snuck in afterwards, just like Sting would in 97, attacking the NWO. He did sort of take Moose from behind and, of course, did the reverse DDT. He actually stole the Impact Championship as well, which for me, I must admit, I'm being interested to see what it's going to lead to in storyline terms. We're going to find out the reasoning next week, but I would say is that this sort of moment does lack without fans. I do feel that that sort of would be much better if there were some Impact fans in the arena, but unfortunately we can't have that at the moment. But it still means that we need to have these storylines play out as they would be. I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to play out as the result. So overall for night 1, I thought it was decent. I really enjoyed the episode. I think that, like I said, there were some solid matches in there. Particularly enjoyed the opener X Division Championship match, mainly for the surprise result. But for match quality, I really enjoyed the main event. I thought the Tag Team Championship match was absolutely amazing. And I think that as well, the Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson match with Ace Austin and, of course, Madman Fulton also was pretty decent. More WrestleHouse next week as well. Who stole the Dina's beer? We're going to have to wait and see who done that. I'm looking forward to it, to finding out. I'm not quite sure who we're going to get for Eddie Edwards' mystery opponent next week. But I guess as this is a prediction video, I should give a name to predict somebody. I would love there to be a complete thrown curveball. Of course, some people are just turning up still in Impact Wrestling that we haven't realised have been signed. I'd love Mike Bennett to turn up out of nowhere. I think that would be awesome to see him debut in that role, as we saw with Brian Myers the week previous. But what I would say is I still feel that perhaps Heath might be the person to actually answer this if I had to go for a slightly more realistic option, because if Heath comes in and accepts this challenge, this is a way for him to be signed by Impact Wrestling. So I think that might be the route they might go down, and of course then Heath would perhaps lose, and then that would give him an opportunity to have to find a different way to get his foot in the door, because so far those segments have been pretty entertaining, and I think they are going to drag this out for a bit longer with Heath before he's seen as officially a member of the Impact roster. Of course, last but not least, of course, I've already given my prediction last week on it, but I will touch on it if you haven't seen it already. Deonna Purrazzo against Jordynne Grace, 30-minute Iron Man match for the Knockouts Championship. I think it's got Match of the Year candidate written all over it. I think it's going to be a solid match between the two ladies. I loved their match at Slammiversary, but I think Deonna Purrazzo will walk away Knockouts champion. As I say, I think 3 falls or 5 falls potentially could be done in this with these two ladies. I would be surprised if they did more than that, and I think that it would be a bit overkill if they did more than 5 falls. There is always the potential it could go down to 1 fall as well, or even overtime. I would be quite happy with that as well. It'll be interesting to see how they're going to play this match. But I think whatever happens, these two ladies had great chemistry before. I love the stars clashing together, the technical masterclass, the Perazzo, the hard, heavy hitting of the Jordan Grace there, and I think it's going to be an amazing match between the two ladies. So bring it on, Impact Wrestling. I'm looking forward to another solid week of Emergence Part 2. But that's all from me anyway. Let me know your thoughts of Emergence Night 1 in the comments below. What do you think will happen on Night 2 as well? Keep an eye on the channel. Videos coming up every day this week. SummerSlam, if you're into WWE, the predictions are already up. NXT TakeOver 30 will be up tomorrow, and the Q&A was uploaded on Monday. So lots to keep an eye on, lots to keep an eye on going forward. This Week in Wrestling will be coming on Friday as well. So yeah, please like, share, and subscribe. Like I say, please share with your friends. Spread the word of SCW. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. And this has been your Impact video of the week here on SCW.